Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I am Olusegun Iwemoje, an associate professor of statistics at University of Botswana, here in Botswana. It's a great privilege for me to introduce and then the citation of Professor Madison Ngafeeson. Professor Madison Ngafeeson is a professor and a director of business data analytics at Palm Beach Atlantic University in Florida, USA. He is also a mentor in the Doctor of Business Administration program at Swiss School of Business Management, Geneva, an adjunct professor of business analytics at Washington Baptist University in Arkansas. Professor Ngafeeson holds a PhD in information science system from University of Texas, a master's degree in information system from Southern University at New Orleans, and a Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry from University of Buea in Cameroon. He also obtained his business analytics certificate from Harvard University. He began his early career in medical laboratory sciences and dentistry. He later transitioned to the nonprofit management sector before joining academia. His research interest lies in the intersection of technology implementation and human behavior concerning subjects like resistance to technology and the impact of digitalization. His publications appear in reputable international conferences as well as journal outlets. In the past few years, he has won multiple awards for his contribution to research, innovation, and leadership. Professor Ngafeeson is equally a speaker, author, and a Maxwell Leadership Certified Leadership Coach. He is the CEO of Superior Lead and the president of Lead Mission International, both of which are leadership development organizations that emphasize value-based leadership. In the past 8 years, he has trained over 20,000 leaders from over 55 countries of the world through his organization. He is a convener of several leadership conferences, seminars, and masterminds for leaders in various countries, including Canada, Ghana, Nigeria, Britain, Cameroon, Germany, and the USA. Professor Ngafeeson's latest book, The Day Before Tomorrow, How to Make Today Count, has been read around the world and is currently available in English, French, and German languages. It has a book on self-leadership. The Day Before Tomorrow is being used in masterminds and courses to prepare career professionals and students to lead intentional lives. He believes that personal leadership is the key to leading a successful life. Therefore, I present to you Professor Ngafeeson, who will be sharing with us today his story of career in diaspora, how I became me in research, in career and influence. Please join me in welcoming Professor Ngafeeson. You're welcome, Prof. Professor Ngafeeson, please, you're welcome to present.
Is in the house. I have given him co-host, right? And I think he should be able to unmute himself. Prof, if you're around, can you unmute yourself? Then you can.
This one.
Yeah, I can see him here.
Is there? Professor Ngafeeson, are you there?
I'm here.
Yes, please, you can make your presentation. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
So, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Is it possible for me to? Okay, good. I can share. Okay.
Yes, yes, you can.
Sorry about that. So are you able to see my screen?
Sure.
Yes, we see you. We see your screen.
All right, good. So good morning, everyone. My name is Madison Ngafeeson, and I am excited to be here today and just to share with you my journey. I want to first of all just thank Professor Bright Nwaru and the entire team for organizing such an awesome conference. I think I've been greatly just blessed being part of this. And I really want to thank everybody who is part of the organization of this program. I also want to thank Dr. John Juma, who a connection to this forum. And so I thank you for making me part of this. And I just want to thank all of the other speakers and presenters and people that have been doing a great work to make this program a really big one. I will be sharing with you my journey, and I will take some time also to just share some lessons that I have learned in the journey. So I am a professor and chair of business data analytics here at the Rinker School of Business at Palm Beach Atlantic University. And that's really where I live and work. So, but I also have assignments at Washita Baptist University in Arkansas, United States. I also am a doctoral mentor at the Swiss Business School of Management in Geneva. Outside of the academic arena, I do run two organizations, my wife and I. Lead Missions International, which is one of the organizations that is really dear to me. It does leadership training around the world, especially in the developing countries. I also run a for-profit organization called Superior Lead, which also does leadership development, but in the for-profit arena. And then I serve also on multiple boards. And because of what we do around the world, I've had the opportunity to, be back and forth around in Africa and here in the US. So I started my journey actually in Cameroon. I did my bachelor's in biochemistry and laboratory technology, and that was in the University of Boya. I see there are some Cameroonians here. They'll be familiar with that. But I left from there and worked in the nonprofit world for about 10 years. I went back to graduate school and I did a master's in management information systems from Southern University at New Orleans in New Orleans, Louisiana. And later on, I joined the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley in Texas, for my PhD in computer information systems. And then after working for some time, I decided to work on my skills in analytics. So I did my graduate certificate of analytics from Harvard Business School. So this is the area in which I really serve. So in general, a little bit about me is that, of course, you know, I've said I'm a business professor. I am a Cameroonian and a proud one at that. I am also an author. My book, The Day Before Tomorrow, How to Make Today Count, is available now in 3 languages, in German, English, and in French. And it's just a book that challenges people to take today seriously and to not procrastinate and to be able to do what they need to do to be successful in life. I'm also an entrepreneur. I talked to you about the small business that we own. I'm a man of faith and I'm a family man. But the way I look at my life in general is that I'm a leader, and I lead in my family, I lead in my career, I lead in the world. That's how I look at myself. And because of the work that we do, we have been able to train over 20,000 leaders in 55 countries of the world in the past 9 years. And we really emphasize the developing countries and especially Africa. So that's why I love what Professor Nwaru is doing through ASFI. Because of the work too, we've have some couple recognitions last year. The University of Texas awarded to me the Distinguished Alumnus Award from the PhD in Information Systems Department. And also my former university, Northern Michigan University, where I taught last before coming to Florida, also awarded me the Individual Innovation Award for building the analytics program at the university. And in the leadership world, I got recognized, that was last year. This is Maxwell Leadership Organization, which is one of the biggest speaking, coaching, leadership development company in the world. It has literally coaches, more than 50,000 coaches from all countries of the world. And I was honored to be the top 20, top 10, and the first. Lastly, but certainly not the least, just a few months ago, I was also recognized by Akaba World Network as part of the Global 100 Leading Black Professionals. And the reason why I was sharing with you this is not to in any way to brag. I'm certainly not that kind of a person, but just so that you can appreciate my journey when I go back, because life didn't start for me where in all of these arenas that I've pointed to you. Life started for me professionally right about 1997 when I graduated from the University of Boya with a degree in biochemistry and laboratory technology. I started working in the lab in Cameroon and then decided that it was not as challenging for me, so I went into dentistry. So I've worked as a dental assistant with the Cameroon Health Board, Cameroon Baptist Convention Health Board for about 5 years. And then I decided that that was not challenging for me. I quit that one and I decided to go into nonprofits. And especially I was burdened about the young people and the future of the young people in my country. So I joined an organization that was faith-based and that was aimed at pulling young people out of the streets and so that they can lead a meaningful life. And so for 6 years of my life, I worked full-time with an organization called Cameroon Youth for Jesus. And it was during that time that I really caught my desire and my passion for developing leaders. And that really helped me as a person to refine what I wanted for myself in life. And it was actually doing that one of my big brothers came around and said, Madison, what do you want to do after this? And then I said, I want to get some training that will help me to be able to do, leadership development around the world. And then he said to me, okay, while you are still thinking about what to do, can I just get you an admission in my school so that as you come, you can change your major any day, anytime as if you want. And so he got me admission into a master's program in information system, and the rest is history. I've stayed in information systems ever since. So from ministry to management information systems. So, in 2007, I left my home country, Cameroon, came to the United States to pursue a master's in information systems at Southern University at New Orleans. But I would like to mention that I had never done anything in computer prior to that time. The closest I came to computers and computing was a couple months before coming to the US. I decided to learn how to be able to type on the keyboard. That's the closest I came to computers. So imagine me sitting in a master's of information systems class with students who were born with computers, and then I had literally never sat down there and done anything on computing. Knew nothing about programming, knew nothing about how to really actively use a computer beyond maybe the internet, and maybe beyond what Word documents, PowerPoint and all of that. But that is how my life started in the technology world. So I had to do extra to learn. I had to meet friends and do after classroom kind of tutoring and all of that to get me up to speed as a business major. So after that, getting my master in information systems, I was encouraged by my professors to pursue the PhD program. And so I became part of the PhD program in information systems at the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. So during that time, by the way, if you remember, I went there, it was end of 2008. If you can remember what was happening in the world in 2008, is that there was a global economic crisis that hit the United States of America. And that's when President Obama was president of the United States. And one of the big changes that happened around that time is that the United States itself was trying to become more efficient, knowing that there were a serious economic crisis in the nation. And so the Affordable Care Act of America was signed around that period. So as someone who was in the computer information systems arena, therefore, I decided to take advantage of that. And knowing that I started in the healthcare, I decided that I would combine my passion for healthcare and computers and computer information systems. So I decided to specialize in the area of health information system, and then take advantage of that new wave that America was experiencing, transitioning from paper records to electronic health record. So that made me help me to build my research in that track and build my practice in that track. And it landed me my first job as an assistant professor at Northern Michigan University, where they took me in to actually build an informatics program. So in my years out at Northern Michigan University, I actually built a program in an informatics program, certificate program at undergraduate and at graduate levels, serving there as an assistant professor. It was also there that the dean appointed me to lead the MBA program. And the MBA program was quite a program, one of the programs that had really made the university, let me say, popular. But then the program was failing. And when I took over the MBA program, I didn't quite know that that's what was happening. And so that became one of the highlights of my career, in the sense that it was later on that I discovered that the program was failing, and that there were just 20 students in the program, and many people had argued that that program should be scrapped, and they asked everybody in the block, all of the full professors, the associate professors, everybody refused to take on that program. So I was a new kid on the block. I never knew better. So they said, take over this. And I said, yes. And only to discover that it was a setup, because they were looking for somebody who will help bury the program, and they can blame it on that person. But maybe I should say that fast forward a couple of years afterwards, not only the program blossomed, but the program, even by the time I left in 2022, the program was hiring faculty just for the MBA program and not even for undergraduate programs. So that shows how the program had grown. One of the other privileges that I had was to really design the graduate certificate program in informatics. And then I started dabbling into grant writing and got some couple of grants within the institution. And with the grants within the institution, it also helped me to also write a grant to try to connect Northern Michigan University with especially universities in Africa. Again, I love Africa and I believe in the future of Africa. In fact, that's the reason why I'm at this conference, because again, the emphasis is Africa. So through my work with Northern Michigan University, we're able to establish MOUs with universities like in Cameroon, in Rwanda. I actually, right about that time, I met with all the vice chancellors of universities in Rwanda, right about that time. And so that is one of the things that I found fun doing, which was to be part of all of that which was happening in the other universities. And I was planning to go into even to more places, except for that the funding for that particular program, did not continue. But then in the process of doing all of this, I got promoted and tenured as an associate professor in 2019. And then, but I started already seeing the move of analytics and the future of artificial intelligence that was about to happen in the world. So one of the things that I really started to do was to tap into that and build a research agenda that finally allowed me to earn a sabbatical. So for one whole year, I took a sabbatical for professional development and a couple of research pieces that I wanted to do. And then I ended up during COVID all through 2020 at the Harvard Business School, even though we were completely doing that online because of the situation that was in the world. So, but then that allowed me to really complete some key pieces of research and then to get my certification in data analytics from Harvard Business School, but also being able to come back and then build the curriculum for at the graduate and undergraduate levels in business analytics at my former institution. And that's what made my former institution, Northern Michigan University, to really award me what they call the Individual Innovation Award, being able to put together that program. But I actually, at this juncture, wanted to move from my previous university, but I also did not want to have a lateral move. In other words, just move from associate professor to another associate professor, or just, without any challenging task or without taking on further responsibility. So being able to complete my certificate in analytics at that time, being able to have completely started a new curriculum in analytics at both graduate and undergraduate levels, then provided me with the opportunity to argue my case at my new university. And my new university, Palm Beach Atlantic University, really, really wanted someone that will come and take on a new program and lead and start the program and lead the program. And so I was able, therefore, through that, through my research and all of what I had done before, to be able to negotiate to come in full-time with them and have an early promotion to full professor 3 years before my time, actually. So I currently work as a chair and a professor of business and data analytics at my current university. I have just hired, I think that, I think a third or fourth person to work with me in the department and, teaching and all of that. So I'm building the program, bottom up. And then right now we have started a data analytics club there, and which we hope to grow it into a conference. So I'm just waiting for our new building for the School of Business to be completed so that we can change, turn that into a conference that we will be doing annually. So this has kind of been like my professional journey. And I just wanted to close by sharing some of the lessons that I have learned in my journey. So first and foremost, number one, understand and utilize your strengths. Now, there was a certain professor, an older gentleman who was retiring from my former university, Northern Michigan University, and I happened to take him to lunch, and I just asked him, I said, how will you advise a younger person, a younger faculty like myself, regarding what it takes to be successful in academia? And he told me, he said, Madison, you cannot be great at everything, but try to be great at least one thing. Try to be really good at one thing. Distinguish yourself at least one thing. And in academia, you all know, it's either research, it's teaching, or service. So for me, and research came kind of handy for me. And so I took research really seriously, and it always gave me the upper advantage. Of course, I do teach well, and I do a lot of service too, but then research became something that I want to do for the most part. So I learned that you need to at least be great at one of those things if you want to stay in academia. Second thing that I learned was to lead my career and be ready to fire my employer if need be. I think that most of us just accept employment like, okay, this university employs you and you kind of just, you are loyal, you will give your allegiance to the university, but you kind of forget about yourself. The way my mindset has always been, even with my current university, they want me there, they fought hard to get me there, they did everything they could do to get me where they are, but I always like to work first for myself and then for my employer. What that means is wherever they set their minimums and their optimal performance, I want that my least should be their optimum. So in other words, even if I sleep in the night, I will still meet the, probably way beyond the optimal that the department or the university sets for me. The third lesson I've also learned is to gain, indispensability by solving, problems and by being hyper-productive. Now, when I came to Northern Michigan University, like I told you the story of the MBA program was failing and they gave it to me, and I did not know because I was the naive one. I didn't know. I was young. Nobody was doing whatever. I was still like 2 years old in the university. But they wanted it to die in my hands, and they wanted this black guy to bury it. By the way, my university in Northern Michigan had about 5% of other races. Everything was 95% Caucasian. So if you know what kind of environment I was in, if you can imagine that. So I think we were just about 2 black professors in the entire School of Business, maybe 5 professors out of over 300 in the entire university. But I was given a DED program. I turned the DED program, and resuscitate the program, and the program was alive. And that really made the university to trust me and give me a lot of opportunities, like being able to work, connect African universities to my former university. And so gain indispensability by solving problems. If you see a problem in your workplace, you see a problem in your university, you can dive in and be the one who solves it. And guess what? They're going to remunerate you for that, and they're going to love you for that because they are looking for solutions. Understand that I always say this, right? Understand institutional politics, but refuse to play by it. I mean, I've seen many young faculty that come in and they start taking sides and getting camps, and very soon, you are the one that is going to be a culprit, right? Because when the big elephants fight, what happens? They say it's the grass that suffers. So I've learned to stay out of politics and to do what I need to do. I encourage people that are in academia to be involved in entrepreneurial ventures outside of the institution. Today, I own my own private practice and consultancy, and I believe that it helps you stay on top of things, and it helps you stay inquisitive, right? And then also for those that are in the tenured positions, I want you to know there's a life outside of tenure. Most of the time when people attend tenure in a university, they just settle and then they try to do everything to make sure other people are never tenured. That's not my philosophy. When you are tenured, that is the time you can really do the most good, because you can say it the way you want to say it, and you can do anything you want to do any kind of research you want to do. But that's the time to really do the most good in the world, when you are really tenured and now your hands are free, and nobody can stop you, right? The other thing is just to consider, again, like I said, consider yourself, whether it's within the university or outside of the university, as an entrepreneur. Now, any place that I go into, any institution that I worked in, I design my own program. So if I want to go to Africa, I will design a program to collaborate with Africa. If I want to do something in the industry, I design my own program, look for funding that help me do something in the industry. So that way, you are not putting your dreams aside and you are still living your dreams. I love to travel. I love to meet new cultures. And so what do I do? Therefore, I do the things that make me give me the fulfillment of what I want to do. I want to see transformation, especially in developing countries of the world. So I build programs that help me achieve those. And just between the beginning of the year and now, I think I've been to no less than 10 countries now, and running conferences and workshops and programs, and sometimes just for leisure. But find what you like to do and see how you can fit it into your academic life. Do not forget why you are striving for success and significance. For me, my drive comes from my children. I want to see my children. I want to be a good example for my children and for my wife. For me, I want to be a good example for my students. For me, I want to be a good example for my country and for all of the leaders around the world that I mentor. So I tell people, don't forget your why. And lastly, but certainly not the least, it is your responsibility to grow yourself. So I'm always telling myself, I need to grow, I need to grow. So every professional development, I want to be at the forefront of my own growth. Remember, that it's only through growth that tomorrow, we can guarantee that tomorrow is going to be better than today. And so this has been kind of my professional journey I wanted to share with you. This is my family. These are the people that I work for. This is my employer. And so I make sure that I do the very best so that I can take care of them. I would like to stop here so that maybe hopefully we can have some kind of interaction and questions, and I'll be more than happy to have those. Thank you. Hello there.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prof. Madison.
Oh, sorry, I was talking. I didn't know I was on mute. Thank
okay,
you, Prof. We really appreciate you. Thank you for this inspiring story about yourself. I could see Prof. Bright's hand there. Before I just do a kind of summary, let me allow Professor Bright to speak. Thank you, Prof.
Yes,
Professor Bright?
yes, Prof. Madison, thanks a lot. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for this inspiring journey you have really made. Sometimes when I speak with my colleagues down there in Africa, and we interact, I get the impression that they feel that my position is good. I mean, I am at an advantage, being in this part of the world. But something you have described here, that you were in the midst of 95% Caucasians as an African. perhaps sometimes, those of us who are at home don't understand that we are actually in a thick forest. And you can be the black sheep at any time, and things can go wrong. And but it seems that you were set out to make a difference, and you were able to navigate and rose above the circumstances around you. So I have two questions. One is, what was your underlying motivation? I mean, what kind of preparation did you have to do that? Because I also know, I'm not sure how many percentage of people who come from Africa and have such aspirations, but it's not many of us who actually rise to the top. So that could be something that really makes a difference between those who eventually succeed and those who don't succeed. So one is, what was your underlying motivation to have the principles and philosophies you had and the associated successes? The second thing I have is that I was quite impressed because one of the things I saw in your presentation was transitions. You had transitions. You moved from biochemistry, and today you are business analytics. So you crossed these general lines, and then you had transitions moving from a rural context to very developed context. And in ASFI here, we call it a multidisciplinary platform. So we don't speak disciplines. Those who know what we do, we don't speak this. We don't say, well, I am a humanities person or that, because we believe that we need everyone to make a difference. So not everybody is motivated to make these transitions, disciplinary or other types of transitions. How did you do this? Why did you do this? Because I really want to know how this came through for you.
Well, I think number one, when I was 19 years old, something really fundamental happened in my life, which is that I decided as a young man that I was going to turn my life back to God. And that gave me a very strong sense of purpose, because then I was drinking alcohol and smoking cigarettes and all of that. And I just came to this place where I said, I want to make something out of my life. And I did, and I really meant it. And so that strong sense of purpose led me on to almost to everything that followed later on, where I decided that when I found out that anytime I find out that this is where I'm supposed to be, or this is what I'm supposed to do, then I really plug in with everything that I had. I came to the United States with $600 to my name, honestly. And that was borrowed money that my mom borrowed from a certain credit union back in the city in my country. I lived in this country for the first, I mean, it's amazing, it's strange, but with thousands and thousands of dollars of school tuition that I needed to pay, I had no money. I came just like that. And I had a mentor who, when I told him about my situation, he looked at me and he said, if God brought you here, make no small plans. And that changed my life, right? He said, God brought you here, make no small plans. And that's the way I've lived. I say, oh, God brought me here, so I'll make no small plans. So the world is, I'll make God-sized plans for my life, if you will. And so that drive to fulfill purpose, I moved from healthcare to nonprofit, in fact, ministry, then to information systems, and then to quantitative methods, and then to analytics, and for me, and then to owning a leadership organization that is literally, touching the globe. It's just that drive, and also to see transformation in the lives of others. I'm glad that I'm able to go back home to my own country, sit with my prime minister, do training within my government, and do things like that. I love to do those great things, but it comes from that centeredness of trying to achieve my purpose, the reason for why I'm here, and then the drive to see that vision happens and that others are transformed as a consequence. So I'm always for Africa. I'm always for seeing how I can bridge that gap and help my fellow brothers and sisters so that they can achieve the same things too. I forgot what your second question was. I said, what caused me to do that? And what was the second question?
I think it's quite related. I was asking how you made these transitions, crossing disciplinary lines, because many of us are really afraid to do this. They don't want to do this.
Of course. The thing is, this is what I will have to say about making transitions. I would say that if you don't get out of your comfort zone, you will never really experience the miracles that you are really looking for, if you will. It is because you break that fear, and it's because you go out of that comfort zone, that is when you get to really live the life of your dreams. The life of your dreams is outside of your comfort zone. And unless you break it, you will never live it. And so I just challenge you that when you feel in your heart that this is what you need to do, don't be afraid to start all over again. I've started all over in my life a couple of times, but it was worthy of it. And even where I am today, I don't, if tomorrow I feel like the next step is something else, I will still do it. Why? Because every time you want to get to that next level, you will need to unfreeze your current situation, and then you have to make a move. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. We really appreciate you. For our time, I would have loved to take more people, but I can see indeed that you are a proud Cameroonian and you love Africa from this discussion. We really appreciate you. And you made a statement. You said it is your responsibility to grow yourself. And I think this is important for us all. So if we really want to make that change, we need to grow ourselves. And we really appreciate you for being with us here today. Can we give him a round of applause? Thank you, thank you, thank you. We really appreciate you. Yeah, can we give him a hand?